I told you that even some Xbox fans have bought into this narrative that somewhere, somehow, Xbox doesn't care about the Xbox console or Xbox doesn't care about its own users, which is a lie. It's a gaslighting lie that is pretty much overtaking the conversation. And what I want to do is I want to debunk this, but I'm not going to do it by myself. I'm going to bring my best buddies, data, and evidence to do the job. We'll read a comment from a fellow, or I guess I would say he's a fellow PlayStation fan now, I guess, but he said he's an or former Xbox fan. So let's look at their comment, and I think we're probably going to get a sense as to what may be going on. I made a video lately where I talked about how content is where Xbox is shining. It now has a bunch of games, and they're being released as a roadmap. When we look at PlayStation's roadmap, it can't match. The tables have turned in that department. They said a lot of content doesn't necessarily mean it's good content. Well, you can't judge because majority of those games are still coming out. If you fight over Starfield, well, yes, it's a mixed reaction. There's about, 50+% people who think it's good, and then the other side think it's not good. That's the subjectivity. If you look at Indiana Jones, that shows that the content is good, right? Because there's a majority of people who say it's good. Some people, they say it's not so good. Again, it's subjective. So if you think the content's not good, that is your subjective opinion. I can't force you to like some games because even I don't play some Xbox games that they release on Game Pass PC. I'm like, it's not for me. So they said, Xbox fan here, no point having an Xbox when all their games are going to PlayStation. That is not true. All their games have not gone to PlayStation. We don't have any announcement that all their games are going to PlayStation. What we know and what we have as an announcement is that there are no restrictions or red lines as to which games can go. Pay very close attention. You see, a lot of people want to take this and chalk this up to a whole new narrative. They've said we will go on a case-by-case basis. It's basically the same thing. If a game is not looking like it's going to be strong for us, we're going to take it to other platforms so that we can make our money. Phil Spencer said we're here to do business. They're not here for your console war. This is actually very interesting because somebody said something recently on the channel, and I was wondering why would they say something like that? They said there's a reason that Xbox fanboys and PlayStation fanboys do not like Phil Spencer, simply because he took away the rug from under their console war. I'm starting to see what you meant by that comment because it's very interesting that somebody actually said that. Because if you think about what Phil Spencer has done, he's blurred the whole lines across this whole, my console has, these games and your console doesn't have those games. And so now fellow, PlayStation fans are in a sense mad at him because these games are not going to be on PlayStation, and it's going to be like, okay. And then or maybe current Xbox fans are mad at him because they don't have, anything to hold. Oh, the reason why we bought an Xbox. The reason you should have bought an Xbox was to just play games. These companies don't care about any of you. I mean, check it out. It's very interesting nonetheless to see it. And let me show you that comment that somebody put out here. So my name is, Mud. Shout out to you. You're the one who said the comment. You said console warriors on both sides don't like Phil Spencer because he doesn't support the console war. He's a gamer first and a suit for Microsoft as well. While their messaging usually sucks, they're most pro-consumer of all three console manufacturers by a country mile. Yes, they are. And so somebody saying that they sold their Xbox to go buy a PS, that's your choice. If you're going to go play Xbox games there, Xbox is happy for you to do that. Them selling a console at $200 loss is not a viable business proposition for them. Do you know that that's how much they lose when they sell a console? Do you know that PlayStation also loses money when they sell consoles? The $399 digital Xbox, the digital PlayStation 5 was still selling at a loss when they were announcing that their $499 PS5 was no longer selling at a loss. And they were using PlayStation 4 sales to mitigate that loss. So again, you're not doing anything, that is harming Xbox in general. They have you cornered across the market. Unless you want to dump Xbox and say there's no Xbox game that concerns you, which is perfectly fine so that you can be happy playing your games elsewhere. They continued, though. They said the argument of PlayStation games going to PC is null and void. No, it's not. You don't just call an argument null and void and then everybody walks away. You have to prove why it's null and void. PlayStation games go to PC day one. That's one parameter. PlayStation games go to PC because they want to sell copies. That's another parameter. And PlayStation games apparently are being beaten by the live service games on their own platforms. That's exactly why they're going to, PC day and date. This is a reality. You cannot dodge it and just say, well, it's null and void. And even the reason that you're giving that it's null and void is not even a viable reason. Because the reason that you gave here was very funny. You said because their games go to PC 12 to 24 months after release, not day one. That's not true. They have games that do go to PC even on day one. You said it right here. You said as they go to PC at 12 to 24 months after release. No, they launched 4 games day one on PC this year alone. PlayStation did. They launched Until Dawn Remake, Lego Horizon Adventures, Helldivers 2, and Concord, all on PC day one. Now, you're probably going to jump in and say, oh, well, it's live service, but who cares? PlayStation is launching their games on PC day one, making them a third-party competitor. And if you say that they're not a competitor, then you're not being honest. They're an indirect competitor. The reason they're moving over to other platforms is because you guys on the PlayStation side are not engaging with these PlayStation games enough. You're not making them match the sales that Nintendo is seeing. They want to see 50 million copies of their game sold one day. PlayStation would love to see that. Xbox would love to see that. But Xbox is not really concerned because they get about 25 million plus annually for their biggest franchise, Call of Duty, and they have engagement on Overwatch and all the other games that are going to fund these single player games that they're going to drop on Game Pass. So their own corner of the market is kind of already, in a sense, cut out for them. And now PlayStation has to go look for its own thing. They said Xbox putting all their games on competitors' console is literally admitting loss. Which of all their games have gone to the competitor's console? How does somebody take misinformation and act upon it? So now you've gone and sold your console because, or maybe, I don't know what you did. Maybe you have it, or maybe you went and bought another console. Maybe you got a PC because Xbox said we have no red lines on which games we're going to take to other platforms. And so you say that they're admitting loss. Loss of what? Because if anybody is admitting that they've been pummeled by Xbox, is PlayStation, where they basically, in their own hack, we saw that they are talking about Xbox's ecosystem now as a comprehensive unit, where their console, subscription, and PC are everything that goes into their own ecosystem. So what you want is an exclusive platform that would hold games away from other gamers. Stay away from Xbox then. That's it. But don't come out here and start saying that, oh, Xbox is admitting a loss. They're not admitting any loss other than the loss that Phil Spencer already did admit, saying that they lost the console war, that they're not going to be able to sell as many consoles as Nintendo or PlayStation. However, when it comes to services, they're going to bring the best service on the market. Day one, single player games. Day one, their games made by Xbox, live service single player, all on Game Pass for any Xbox user. And they understand even their market that Xbox right now is the biggest holder of Game Pass by stats. Go look at it. 21.9 million users as of 2022 were on the Xbox console using Game Pass. So again, if you want to move to another ecosystem, go on your own accord. Don't try to sit here and make it sound like it's Xbox's fault. No. Xbox is giving games to its own users, even the users on PC. We're getting Game Pass as well too. But if you don't want to deal with that ecosystem and you want an exclusive ecosystem, buy yourself a Nintendo and buy yourself a PlayStation. Even though PlayStation's games aren't exclusive anymore, you just had to say that because, you maybe thought that somehow PlayStation can maintain the exclusivity that Nintendo does. PlayStation's business is not structured like that. They have to make you think it's structured like that, but it's not. It's just like Xbox's business. It just understands, and this is the funny thing. You see, when Sean Layden was talking these last few weeks, he said something along the lines of how PlayStation is not going to, just bring their games to Xbox because of how it's going to, it's going to anger the community. So PlayStation understands that, PlayStation fans are going to riot. So what do? They play sneaky games. They sneak around all their realities, making you PlayStation fanboys continue to still think that somewhere, somehow, oh, they bring their games to PC in 12 to 24 months. When in the same year they launched 4, and you still said this by December. Maybe you didn't look it up. Maybe you didn't even know. They need you to be in a curated bubble so that you can't perceive what they're doing and the moves that they're making. They're eroding the whole timeline. That 12 to 24 months, you had to say 12 to 24 months. You understand? It used to be 24 months, guys. Remember that, right? It used to be 24 months. But Marvel Spider-Man has now reduced that number significantly. It's actually the closest. It's actually the biggest. If you even think about Last of Us Part 2, apparently that one was already prepared a long time ago. They just wanted to launch it at a time where it didn't seem like, it's not like it's too close to all the other ones. They had it already cooked and ready to go. But when you say that Xbox puts, revenue ahead of its own users, it doesn't make any sense to me, because Xbox has basically taken the approach that it's going to actually provide value for its users in order for them to be able to gain revenue. And they're doing it with their services. They're doing it with everything that they have in their hands. So again, the misrepresentation of Xbox, I think, is very weird. Go to other platforms if that's what's suitable for you, but don't make it sound like, oh, these other platforms are this, interesting places or whatever it is. Nah, man. That's I think someone's pretending or wants to justify their decision. You don't have to justify your decision to anyone. You don't. But the data does not support what you're saying. It doesn't. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace out.